Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Yes, this is the Great Mattsby Tesla Tracker. How's it going out there?
Ooh. Oh man, it's going so good. I can't even get a handle on how crazy it was last night. My favorite quote from X was the person who said that American leadership now looks like WWE wrestling. That's just nuts with the whole, yeah, the bro breakout between Trump and Elon.
I mean, they
So
have the world as their stage, so it did seem very, very
yeah,
scripted to me. So we'll see what really happens here.
it's pretty wild. Yeah, I've heard like both ideas that one is just buffoons and the other one's like, oh, it was all planned. And like you said, scripted out.
Yep.
So we'll see. We were all talking about Tesla yesterday and Trump and Elon, and I didn't see much talk about Bitcoin, but I think Bitcoin did something very significant yesterday, and we'll talk about that this morning as well. But how about
Yeah.
let's get started.
All right. So starting with the SPYs, so we're getting back up, getting back up pre-market here to the previous high end of the range, right? So yesterday really got up to maybe the 599, and we're getting up there again, 597.20. So let's see if it actually can continue higher and make another higher high daily candle close. And for the week, we'll be looking at the weekly chart. This has the potential to be a higher high weekly candle close if it can close above this wick right here of 595.54. So that would lead to a break of structure to the upside, which would make possible the continuation towards the previous all-time highs. So this is something that is very, very bullish if that could happen. So let's see if there's any more drama today in the markets to send things lower. But as we sit right now, it's on track to be another higher high weekly candle close. Same with the QQQ. It's on track to be another higher high weekly candle close. And this line basically is this previous high, right? This wick last week of 526.48. So that is where I drew that line. I just want to see it close above that for another higher high as well, for the potential to continue to the all-time highs and maybe even the 1.618 fib at the 548. And lastly, IWM here, we can see that it is on its way now towards the 213.89. And it also has potential to finally make a higher high weekly candle close. I talked about it on the Triumvirate show last Tuesday, how it's looking more and more likely that it wants to break to the upside because it's above the baseline, keeps on holding support well. And that's exactly what it's looking like pre-market. So the main focus is, yeah, let's do a higher high weekly candle close to kind of confirm that it really wants to continue the journey to the 213 to the 215 zone. And with Bitcoin here, I'll pull up my little chart right here first, just to show you that it is wicking deeper below the 105 500 level right there. But actually, when you put on the fibs again, do I have my fibs saved over here? No. Oh yeah, I do. Uh, when I have the fib right here, we can see that price actually linear scale just went right back down to the 102.076, wick through it, and log scale is still holding the 103.611. So I think this is a good thing, and the reason why is because we got another back test and so far stability above both of those fibs. So the 1.272, that's great, but even this 1.618 linear scale fib here, it finally back tested it, which it didn't do the last 2 weeks. So getting that again is actually a healthy development, in my opinion. And I think that's just extra liquidity needed to finally maybe send things back higher.
Yeah, it's like it's a liquidity grab and also a final psychological back test that, oh yeah, Bitcoin's worth $100,000 or more now because we back tested 100,000. So now we
Oh
can
yeah.
go test 200,000 in price discovery. QQQ and SPY both have price gaps, a weekly price gap. Is that right? And IWM
Yeah,
doesn't.
they're still there. Yeah, IWM
So,
closed it. But yeah.
so you put me up. I thank you very much. Let me just. Where is my SPY chart? Let me look at my SPY weekly. I just want to put this idea in your mind here. That perhaps this price gap that is right here, this weekly price gap, might not get filled until in the year. So it could go all the way up to retest the previous high, maybe higher high, then go back like in spooky October or so, close this gap with a wick down and then back up again. You know, something akin to another Japanese carry trade or something like on a, like the August 5th last year or April 7th this year. Just one more right here that just drops it, closes the gap, then back up again. So things could run much higher for a while before kind of gap closure on that if we're going to get one. And then I had my VIX chart up here, and I just wanted to show you again. Here's the daily candlestick chart. Event here, the April 7th bottom. We've been steadily the VIX has just been coming down lower and lower and lower. Back from extreme fear, back through greed. It kind of broke down into greed, back tested fear, and then here we are back in this really good 127.2%. My take profits line is when it gets to the war down here at 1344. So, and just like on the Trivert show, real Bond Broker was talking about the wick-off patterns. I think this is an inverse wick-off pattern. And here's your SOS part where it kind of gets all choppy. This your back chart is kind of worry. And then finally it finishes up with this last bit here. After the SOS choppiness, it does the thing, the big extension, and then it can start correcting back up again. All right, and then Bitcoin, yeah, and I talked about that here. Right here, it tested the low was 100,426. That's the low that we hit, and it already on the 1 hour chart. On the 1 hour chart, we're back above the Ichimoku base. Conversion line. On the 4 hour chart, we're back up to, gosh, what is this? That's a moving average cross. Anyway, we're up to the 200 moving average in the 4 hour chart and above the conversion line of the base. So I think I would love to just see this get up here, 75 around, I don't know, 105, 106, then turn into support and keep going. And yeah, come on, Bitcoin, you can do it. Because I'm tired of DCAing and all the Bitcoin and MicroStrategy stuff and associated. And I know you are too. That being said, let me just do a quick MicroStrategy test. The news chart. The news is that Michael Saylor Strategy is offering another $1 billion offering. I was just saying to my subscribers this morning that I thought maybe this could have been all the low and we'd be heading back up again, but then now it's our chart. We're back. It kind of back tested this again. I think we could still see 351. It went like 382, 236. I don't know. We'll just see. Maybe we still see 3 last time before doing the big up to the 123.6, 886.04. That is 135% higher from now, 152% higher from 351.22. All right, back to you, Matt. Oh wait, I guess I should do Tesla first. Sorry.
Yeah, you can do Tesla, then I'll do my Tesla.
Here's my Tesla chart. It did. Which chart was it? Not this one. I had a chart where this was a significant retrace right here, and that might be all it needs to do. And obviously, we're higher in pre-market. Be careful. Maybe take profits. If it can't get over 310, it'll probably test back lower. Keep that in mind. Is 310? Yeah, 310 is the bottom. It's kind of like midway of this gap. Kind of near what was the previous gap that's now filled. Look out for these two price points kind of project this possible. It's possible if we get more craziness in the headlines, it goes to the 11.4% fib at 258.34. It's not increasing. Yesterday, it's increasingly likely. Now it's just a possibility. We're back up here. We have to see what kind of resistance we get first. 309.45 for the 618 here. Anyway, but either way, I could easily see it filling my blue triangle out, kind of like this heavy black line. So 1, 2, 3, and then it doesn't even do the 4 back. I'd love that. Yeah, the 692.25 rate. That'd be like if it did a 382, 236, 1236. That would be this green target up here of 692.25. Otherwise, maybe we just do this 764382, which is 509 next. All right, back to you, Matt.
Yeah, so let me just switch to my screen over here. And here we are. I talked about this potential yesterday, right? Going back to the 295 during our pre-market show. And sure enough, it did go close the gap. I talked about that, closing the gap. I talked about 295, but I did not have the 270s on my bingo card yesterday. So that was a little surprise to me, but in reality, it actually kind of makes sense if you just look at things. If you just drew kind of like a line here and you just take off everything else and just to examine what really happened, it basically kind of makes sense why I went down there, right? A lot of previous levels here, previous resistance, flipping to support, even these previous wicks here before it really broke out. It went down to back test that. So it does make sense, but I was expecting 295 to be a good support zone. That's why I bought more Tesla. Actually, I said I wasn't going to before a long time ago, but yeah, it was under 291. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy. So I bought some around 290 yesterday, and I posted that on X, and then people are like, oh, it's going lower. Why would you do that? Well, I mean, why were you excited at resistance up here when I've been telling you for the past 2 weeks? Like it always happens. People are super bullish up here and super bearish down here. It just doesn't make any sense to me because this is like market psychology 101. You want to do basically the opposite you feel. Like if you feel super excited, hey, guess what? Be cautious. If you feel super panicky, you know what? It's probably a good idea to nibble a little bit more. And sure enough, we do have the possibility now to even close back above the 295 right here today. And what else is in that zone? The 50-week moving average is 294.38. So that is also a breakout back test. So we are looking at something very positive for Tesla. This is actually a very bullish development for a big breakout, quick liquidity grab back test to flush everybody out. It seems like a very, very timed event. Why didn't they release that news before it hit resistance, right? Why did they release that news afterwards, this fallout? It's not like anything really has changed between them except for that bill. But, you know, every bill that goes through the White House is basically full of garbage. So it doesn't change anything, you know? So 295.05, I'm looking at that for a weekly candle close. And I just ignore all the narratives and everything. The charts tell you the story the whole time. Be cautious at resistance. Be more bullish at support. I'm more bullish at support. 295.05. I want to see that close.
Woohoo. Let's see. I wanted to just
actually,
do ID dips request here about. Oh no, go ahead. Yeah, do your thing.
No, I was just gonna do a DocuSign, but if you got one ready to go, let's go.
Oh no, you're still up. You can.
Okay.
You can do
Yeah.
DocuSign.
So here's my DocuSign, and actually I do like this chart a lot now. And the reason why is it finally reclaimed the 200-week moving average. Right. Oh wait, no, it didn't. Is it pre-market? Oh no, I don't like it anymore. I just saw that 76.
Oh no!
But it is. That pre-market, that little pre-market thing. Yeah, the 50-week moving average is right there. So this is not really good for a development unless it just turns into a wick today and closes back above levels. So if it does close below the cloud today, I'll be a little bit cautious. But if it just turns into a wick and then closes inside the cloud, then not much really has changed from the previous price action. So let's see. Let's see. That bottom of the cloud is around 78.30. The 50-week moving average is around 76.27. And then right up top, 85.30. That's going to be resistance, and 84.84. So I would say it's back in the range that it was before it kind of broke out of the 200. So maybe this is like some kind of false breakout of the 200-week moving average. And yeah, let's watch this 76.27, try to hold. But best case scenario, stay inside the cloud, right? That's what I want to see, because flipping that cloud to a resistance could mean things might need to retest a little bit lower. So I'll be watching that 78.20 the most just to see if it can stay inside. All right, Tracker, go ahead.
Hey Matt, you ever use that feature on Restream where you can actually click on a comment and show it to everybody on the screen? It's kind of funny.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
this one
Which
from
one?
Richard Fletcher. My favorite comment: Vladimir Putin will broker a peace deal between Trump and Elon. That is really hilarious. But
There it is.
let's see, QMCO, there it is. So funny. QM's excited about it after it did this 1-2, and then it wicked over the 1-hour moving average 75, and it turned into resistance, and it went back down again. So I stopped out, dropped below my wave 2 here. It's still a higher. No, it made a new lower low. I did. I got out. It's recover something nice, but now it's got to make a new higher high and a higher low than this. Yeah, that's a new lower low than where I had started my wave setup. So, I mean, if you're in it, you can still stay in it if you got time. I stopped out and I used that money to throw it into more TSLL. So I bought like $130,000 of TSLL yesterday, and I've got another $30,000 more. There's so many things happening though. I don't want to go too much more heavy in TSLL. There might be said, but just to answer Bitadip's question there, and then I did MicroStrategy. I don't know if there's anything new for you for MicroStrategy, Matt. Otherwise, I'll
No, it's
try.
range bound.
Is, is Diddy, Y, and FXI, are those cryptos? I don't recognize
No,
them.
Didi is a Chinese Uber, basically. I got that chart ready available right here.
Oh,
Yeah, I've taken when I lived in China, I took
let me just
many
take
of
a quick
those
look at it.
Didis here. But my chart, it's
Oh,
boring. It's super boring on my chart right here. And all I'm really focused
it is a
on
little
this is
weird.
all I'm focused
Go ahead.
on is to see if it can break out. If it can break out, and it is trying to break out of this fib. So from the 2021 high to the low, it is trying to break out. This is the 474. It is trying to flip that to support. So I guess that's all you got to watch, right? Stay above 474. Then this has potential to go higher. But this has been a dead stock in a range since 2023, really, even before that, since 2022. It's just been in this zone for a long, long time. So it's really not doing much. And I don't know. I think there's better options. It is OTC, so it's not that much volume as well. I think I always try to stay away from OTC because they're kind of boring. But people love the MetaPlanet, even though that is also OTC as well. But 474, that's the target. Go ahead, Tracker.
Let's see. I'll show my Rocket Lab chart. I see some cryptos there. I'll leave for you. Here's Rocket Lab, and yeah, it's the chart's still nice and steady. It might have front run the 618, and might want to back test the. Why is my thing messed up? Oh, I was just looking for maybe if it got front run here, maybe it gets front run here. So instead of normally, I would expect 2110 for the bottom, but maybe it touches the top of this cloud and goes up. So just look for an opportunity to buy Rocket Lab. Not yet. Buy it somewhere between 2312 and 2110. 2312 and 2110. Ideally 2110, and then it goes up somewhere between 136 to 117% higher to 5032. Back test the 764 at 3652 and on to 7954. If I'm wrong, then it testing the 3226 level, it goes higher and either gets a perfect test of 3226 or even extends to 3652. I have to kind of keep an eye on that. I do have my alert here just at the 50% mark if it goes back up that high again. Otherwise, I'm looking down here lower to buy in to Rocket Lab. What else? Oh, Morgan Maestros. That's so cool. Let's see. Is HL, is that a Hecla mining company or is that a crypto? I don't. HL and MUX. I have never done this one. You guys are hitting me with a bunch of so I'll have to do some of those while Matt's doing his.
Yeah, I got
They want
the cryptos coming up here.
Let me just say one thing about Kadena Bio-therapeutics. This was one I recommended, and the stock is just doing terribly ever since then. Like they've fallen into the death spiral for pharma, where the price goes lower. have to do a reverse stock split, where they have rumors of a reverse stock split. Actually, it started off with they announced a fundraise, then it dropped below $1. Now they have to do a reverse stock split, which ordered even more, and then they'll have to do another fundraise. It's just looking. They have a fabulous to me, but the company's just struggling with their stock, so I can't recommend it right now. I've sold out of it completely. I've exited my Kalidi, and I'll just wait until the chart does something different. All right, go ahead, Matt, and I'm going to work in the background on some of these other requests.
Okay. Yeah. So before I do Ondo and Velo, let's go take a look at this FXI that I skipped over. So I used a fib just from the 2021 high to the low down here in 2022, and it's still stuck in a range between the 33.73 and the 37.78. So we can see it has been clear resistance before 37.78, rejected, but it's a breakout. It back tested the 200. It held, and also the top of the cloud. So it's possible now to try to break out. Right. Usually on the first attempt to touch that resistance, it doesn't break out. So maybe on the second try, it could. So 37.78 is the goal to close weekly candles above. But in the meantime, it's just going to be range bound. And the range is basically between these two fibs, 33.73, 37.78. So not much happening until it's able to break out. And yeah, let's take a look at Ondo here. ONDO. And what happened to it? Yeah, it went down to go back towards the arc, right? That is something perfectly understandable because it lost the cloud, it lost the angle, it lost the 50-week moving average, it lost the conversion line, it lost all that as support. So losing that as support means it's going to retest a level, which is the arc below. And in fact, it did wick already through it. So wick down below it, and you can't really see it because the orange line is in the way. But yeah, it wicked down below it, and it held. It held. So just keep on holding 0.77 as support, and then it can just keep building a base on top of this arc until it's really ready to go higher. So it's still a very nice formation. It's higher highs, higher lows on the high time frame here. It's just working on finding another little higher low here from here. And I think once it gets back above, let's say, the 50-week moving average around $1, then I think it can get more momentum. But right now, it's just stuck in a range. And speaking of stuck in a range, Velo is also just stuck in a range as well. So I'll take a look at that here too. And yeah, the range is really well defined with the conversion line as it's hanging by a thread right there at the 0.0122. But we have also the 100-week moving average below at 0.113. So it's really range bound. But ideally, losing this angle is not a good idea. So what I would like to see is by Sunday, the weekly candle close, maybe if it can get some momentum and then close back above it inside this space here, because just building a base on top of this angle would be ideal for the continuation to the 0.01729. But this is a chart that is currently kind of struggling, but when you zoom out a little bit, it's still the high time frame market structure is not bad, right? Still from the bottom, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? It's just working on another little mini higher low before trying to attempt to break resistance. So it is it's looking like it's possible, but right now it's just stuck. And it's been stuck for weeks, like 3 weeks in a row. It's been stuck in this same range. So I'm looking for a close above this angle here, maybe in the 0.013 and above.
Let's see. I can show a
All right,
chart
Tracker,
if you
you
want, or I
ready?
can keep working on more. Okay, go ahead. Here's my take on
Yeah,
Fushi,
I can.
or that's what it's called.
Okay, good. Fushi.
Or no, you can. Okay, here's FXI.
No,
Let's
I
see.
already
I
did it. Yeah,
share.
go ahead.
I know, but I just want to show my take on it is that it does have from the beginning a higher high and a higher low that's never broken below. On the downside, there's this downtrend that it's going to be fighting. It hasn't even tested it again yet. Um, but like Matt said, it's kind of boring. It's stuck in this range right now. On the right, it's still trying to test the 382. It has not touched it yet. So it will be exciting if it touches 4091 and either gets over it or gets sent back to 3270 after that. And then you want to buy at that 3270 because then there's a very good chance that it will break out of this trend and will eventually take you 170% higher from 3270 to 88,893. So boring now, but just watch and see what happens around 4091. And then I was going to try to do this one, but I haven't done it yet. So if you have another one, I'll try to draw this up. Miners. I don't like miners. Oh no. Yeah, if anything that says mining, unless it's Bitcoin mining, I don't recommend it. But this does have a low. You can do something else, Matt. If you you can watch me draw this. It's like maybe
Yeah,
it'll do.
I actually have the I have the Soul Strategies waiting for me.
Oh, you do have it.
So
Oh,
Soul Strategy.
well,
Yeah, I got the
here's the Hecla mining
CY
company. Actually, I'm done.
CY.
Oh,
Okay. All right, I can just do this really quickly before you do the Hecla mining. So
go right ahead.
we can see that price is going back to the bottom arc here, and it's going below the angle again. But I'm really watching the zone right here between the current price down to the 141, the 1.414 fib at 148. So I'm watching this zone to see if it does need to get tested, but I think this is a good zone right here before it really wants to try to break all this resistance above. But again, this is something that has been stuck under resistance for a while, so it might take some more time to try to break out. But again, it is a bullish chart. It is holding levels just fine, and right now it's still holding the arc here at 184. So if that trend does continue, then perhaps it's not necessary to go back down to the 148, but it is still possible. But in order to get more bullish, it's going to have to break out of my blue level and the arc around the 330s to the 350s. So until that happens, it's basically just going to be in a big range here, doing a whole lot of nothing. Okay, tracker.
Oh, no, not nothing. I got Hecla Mining Company here. I guess it could be doing stuff. So Hecla Mining Company using this as my wave 1, wave 2. It's not much of a higher low, but it still is one. It looks like it did go to the 618 already at 927. It lost the 236 a little bit, but it recovered it. So that can still count. The 123.6 would be next. Somewhere between 1671, looking back at the 61.8% move, get back to this peak price right here. Somewhere between 1671 and 1716, which is the 123%, 0.6 on the right. And that would be from where price is right now, 163% higher. So I'd call this one maybe like high risk, high reward. But yeah, it's really gonna have to be critical. You'll have to get back make a new higher high over 927. When you figure that out, there's only like 74% left. So yeah, high risk, high reward from here. And then you can take a screenshot. 2993 at the end of this 5 wave, which if it really can do all of that, then it's bigger and nicer. But it's got to it's got the other one. It's got to break this trend line right here. It's got to break out of that trend line. So there you go. Take that screenshot. 362% higher if it makes it all the way to the wave 5. All right, Hecla Mining Company. Here's PLTR. I think I keep bringing it up because it is. Is this the one that's near? No, it's still got a ways to go. On my chart, it did dip back down yesterday, which gives you another buying opportunity to ride it up to either a 15% higher to as much as 22% higher to about 145, 46. Actually, ideally, it's 18%, 18.5% higher. After that, I expect a touchback to 105.43. I don't know when that'll be. Maybe that's in October. Who knows? But anyway, 27% down, and then from there, it gets really good again, and you get to go from the 105 up is I keep hiding it 100% higher to 210.23. So anyway, Palantir, there's a little bit of meat left on this bone before I think it wants to do a pullback. Right. Back to you, Matt. Unless you want me to just keep going, I could try to do.
Yeah,
They wanted your DXY.
I got some ready.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I got DXYZ, and I see a MetaPlanet, but I don't really like charting the OTC MetaPlanet since it's new. But I'll chart this 3350 MetaPlanet for you guys, and I don't I don't like to chase stocks, and this would be chasing for me. So basically, it had a big move already from this point to that point. And how big of a move was that from that to here? That's basically a 350% move already. So I would not be interested in this at all, even though it is possible to go up to the 618 fib up here, but it's just in the middle of a range. And I think the potential to come back down to retest some support. So I unless you chart MetaPlanet, I just don't like to chart things that don't have that much data. So I prefer the charts that have more data. So I think based off this, I'm not sure. I'm not convinced it wants to go continue higher. It is getting a little bit overextended. So I would be cautious here for MetaPlanet. And for DXYZ, Destiny. So this is trying to maintain the conversion line as support. So it's been maintaining that after it broke out in April, right? The weekly conversion line, boom, 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 boom. And that is 37.86. And it is currently above that pre-market. So that is the goal, to close above today, right? Still keep maintaining that as support. Then it has the potential to continue the journey higher. But now it's got a lot more resistance above than the previous weeks, right? Because it's back below the 618. It's back below the leading span A of the Ichimoku cloud. And those are going to pose some resistance. So I think it's in a new range, really a new lower range than the previous weeks. It's back in the 41 down to the $37 range. And if that range stays like stagnant, there still is a risk of going back to the 32 as well. But I think what this tells me is, being in this position now, it might need just more time of consolidation, right? It looks like it had a big breakout and it's just going to correct maybe through time instead of like more price. So I think just be patient with this, because I'm not convinced it's really going to break above this $44. More consolidation ahead, more and more.
Yeah, that makes sense to me
Okay,
too.
tracker here.
God, I could even do a. Yeah, I'm gonna show my Destiny real quick to compare and contrast to yours. The price I'm looking for is still 67.43, but if I take this line and use it to kind of bisect price here, it keeps pushing it out, so pushing out in time. That's still 73% higher to get to this wave, well, the circle one top. But yeah, it could do. I've seen charts that do this. Like if it doesn't leap out of this triangle, kind of falls over, and lower low, which I would not want to see. But if it doesn't make a new lower low, 67.43 is where I'm looking for it next. It just might be not ready to move out yet. The chart seems to want to push it maybe a little higher. I don't know. We'll just have to watch. We did 382, lost the 236. So I'd still like to see the sell block orders up here at the 61.8 at the 67.43. All right, and then I was going to show. Here's the MUX mining company, the other one that they asked for. From this point right here, July 30th of 2018, 25, 22, it's basically been fighting line, and then it broke out of it and turned into support, which makes it does look more promising. Now it's got to fight this trend line, and here is my fib extension based on this low, this higher high, and this higher low. If it does a 382,236, that would kind of break out once and back test this trend. And then it would go to 1886 next. So break this trend line, then I think it could go 115% higher from back to 8 cents. And then the other part of this is, so I want to copy it, but 230 for this wave 5. All right, and then I did that and I did that. What else was I going to do? ZIM. Silver miners broke out yesterday. Is that real? Is that true? Yeah, this thing made a new lower low since we last looked at integrated. But it went back to this 11. Back here is when I hit this 12.36. But now I use Matt's 11.4. TGM left. So, oh yeah, or maybe just a tiny bit below. Went 50%, 11.4. That's actually quite bullish. I think maybe it could head toward the 786 or the 886 next. So, I'm not even be conservative about it. I'm just going to say maybe 5% higher to this. I'll have to do a, ask me again someday and I'll do 5 waves up. But this looks possible to a $43 to $48 for ZIM. All right, Matt, did you have another one you wanted to do?
Yeah, there's a crypto KDA.
Just in, says Shy. Yeah, the KDA. Shy says the U.S. economy added $139,000 jobs higher than expectations. So go ahead and do your 88.
It was. Yeah, that's going to be my last one before I run away here.
Okay.
So KDA, I actually had a GAN that I built a long time ago, and it's not above anything, not even above this purple angle that is the very last angle here that was a support, and it broke below. So being below that is not really a bullish scenario, and being below all the indicators is not really that bullish, and it's not really making any kind of higher high at all. It's just staying flat, and in fact made a lower low just recently back here in April. So where is it going? Well, probably unless it starts to break above the moving averages here, or even my cloud up here in the 118s, it's probably going to do a whole lot of nothing, just sideways. So it's kind of a crypto that I would not be interested in, to be honest. It's just going sideways for way too long, not really making any kind of momentum higher. So until that changes, it would be a no-go for me. So what I would be looking at is the orange level here around 128. If it breaks above that, stays above that, then it's got a possibility to go higher. But until then, it's probably just going to be in a big giant range like it has been for the past few years. And Tracker, take us out.
All right. Well, I pulled up silver, and wow, lo and behold, price per pound, it really has been made a higher high and a higher low. It did more than a 382, more than a 236, but kind of kept along this weekly moving average. And this one here, this is the 75. This is like 4 times the 75. So yeah, I think it's going to $40.83 next. That's 123.6. I don't think that many people here do silver, but 13% higher to 40.83, back to $32, and then from there, from $32 a pound, the 2236 up here at 59, up to 85, 86% higher. So silver is finally catching up with the dollar inflation. Years later, after having its price suppressed by Morgan Stanley, or I can't remember which one was accused of fixing the silver price. Oh gosh.
And
Yeah,
we
all
got
I can say,
a meow
my
out
last
there
thought.
from Cantonese Cat.
Oh, hi, Meow. I love that Cantonese cat. He
Meow,
puts out the
meow.
best charts and memes and fun stuff, and he writes lovely songs about his friends. I love the one he did, the two songs he did about me. I'm gonna have to do a song about him one of these days. That's it. I'm threatening him with a good time. Oh no, XXRP made a new lower low. I mean a new lower higher low. Change my chart again. This is XRP. I don't know. VIX is already dropping like a rock for, after yesterday's red day. I'm looking for a green Friday. That's all I can say.
Jamie Dimon.
And Tesla here, just before we leave. Jamie Dimon, thank you. It was Jamie Dimon that was fixing him and the silver futures.
I don't know. That's what Cat said.
Anyway,
Yeah, so probably.
yeah, looks like. Let's see. Yeah, Tesla, it broke above in pre-market. It's got a gap to fill. It fills this gap down to 289. If it drops below 289, look out for it to retest the 273.21. And if that goes lower than my 11.4% fib extension at 258.34, which yesterday I said it looks increasingly likely. Now I'm just downgrading that to possible. As possible. All right. If it hits that, load the boat. But otherwise, hopefully, it just goes up from here with everything else. as the VIX is dropping. Or, like I said, VIX could be SOSing. So it could be up yesterday, down today, up Monday, down Tuesday, et cetera, until it finally just runs off its line like it ate Taco Bell. All right. Thanks, Matt, and everybody. And you guys have a fabulous weekend. We'll be back
We'll see you
on
guys
Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.